Amidst the sea of Hollywood franchises, of sequels and reboots,
Anything like this.
of cinematic universes spanning dozens of movies, two films stood out. They are standalone ones, untied to any prior continuity, which gave its makers creative freedom, whilst at the same time giving justice and honoring the source material, honoring the very essence of these beloved characters. Todd Phillips' 2019 film Joker and Matt Reeves' 2022 film The Batman gave life to the city of Gotham in the most exceptional way. The cinematography, the casts, the music scoring. We could go on and on for days talking about the technical elements that made these films so great, but all that has been said and done before multiple times. Instead, we're here to talk about their underlying theme, one that is so often unconsciously unheard of. That is the question of what drives these anti-heroes to commit their violent crimes. What even are anti-heroes? Are villains born or are they created? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the anatomy of an anti-hero. Although these films are not in the same continuity, we found it interesting to compare and contrast the main characters in these films. Arthur Fleck, Bruce Wayne, and Edward Ashton, to find the hidden themes and contexts, to understand their motivations, who they are, and why they do what they do. Now, without further ado, let us begin.
One theme shown in the characters of Arthur Fleck, Bruce Wayne, and the Riddler was how they lacked the support system that a healthy human being should have. They grew up either in a dysfunctional family or without parents who should be providing them with guidance, love, and support. The feelings of loneliness, rage, and envy are the seeds that grow as their inner demons that they didn't even ask for. As humans, one needs to find their own way of coping. Journals held a significant element in these characters. Aside from showing that they need to cope with their accumulative thoughts that turn into destructive ones, it also signifies that they have no one to talk to. Although Arthur Fleck was seeing a therapist, and Bruce Wayne had his uncle Alfred Pennyworth to serve as someone who they could converse with, trust must be a foundation for them to convey their thoughts and feelings. On the other end, compassion must also be present to convey that these thoughts and feelings are understood. At the end of the day, emotional distance, time restraints, and even government funding are factors that affect these types of conversations. There is a reason why they opted to scribble on notebooks instead of talking to a living creature. Aside from being orphans, all of them were humans who were trying to live a normal life, trying to be socially functional and doing the good thing. Of course, we won't disacknowledge that in some instances, their way of showing their care to the world is awfully exhibited. However, in instances that it is not, their genuine intentions are often misunderstood. People were judgmental around these characters, as if physical appearances, body languages, and backgrounds were factors considered first on how people treat people. This also opens the question, do we always need a reason to show empathy to others? Do these people have to know first that Arthur was medically diagnosed with mental illness and the Riddler was an orphan from a poorly managed orphanage before they listen to what they have to say? If these reasons were always acknowledged first, are people like Arthur and the Riddler finally accepted in the society? Or are they only tolerated? Despite all the mistreatments they have received, one thing that we noticed from these characters is that, at a certain point, they were behaved individuals who held onto this hope that they will be saved by people with power. At one point, Arthur validated his self-worth through the delusion that he's the son of the powerful Thomas Wayne. However, when it was revealed that he was living in a lie, his bitter realization started to unravel. People like him don't matter. And once again, there is no one to save him.
Another theme present in these films is the social divide. The rich are privileged, free to have whatever they want, to be applauded and cheered on, to be seen as saviors and heroes, whilst the poor are seen as super rats, fighting for their spoils,
They've cut our funding.
or as nothing but clowns, savages that kill out of envy for the rich. Think about it. Murray and Bruce have the same story as Arthur and Edward, yet it is only the rich guys that are being listened to and cared about. Take this scene for example. Arthur imagined Murray listening to him in his show, caring and treating him like his son. But even in this imagination, the audience laughed at and made fun of Arthur, and only stopped when Murray told him to acknowledge him otherwise. In his fantasy, he can't escape reality. That is, only the rich are being heard and the poor are mocked and scorned. Only he didn't realize this back then. You see, there's this interesting dynamic.
Okay?
Arthur was kind and sympathetic.
I heard about the beatdown you took. Fucking savages.
It was just a bunch of kids. I should have left it alone.
No, we'll take everything from
Whereas Bruce is violent and has this sense of vengeance that all criminals must be punished. But we would see how the status quo would flip as their motivations solidify.
The truth is, the movies have shown that their characters have tried various conservative ways to catch the attention of the people who have the capabilities to help people like them. However, considering all the factors stated beforehand, their upbringing, their lack of support system, their misunderstood intentions, the need to run away from their shitty lives, the social divide, and the greedy government, Arthur Fleck, Bruce Wayne, and Edward Nashton have slowly created an alter ego, more powerful, more impulsive, chaotic, which gained more attention than their real identities. From being the orphan and pitiful Bruce Wayne, Batman was created to become the symbol of vengeance. From the clown and lonely Arthur Fleck, Joker was created to become the symbol of romanticized pain. From the outcast and unseen Edward Nashton, the Riddler was created to become the symbol of revolution. As they exhibited their first actions through these alter egos, they have also represented a muted group in the society that they belong to. They have become someone that they needed, a hero that represents their needs. Suddenly, not only they have caught the attention of their supposed to be saviors, but they have also gained the validation that they have been longing for a long period of time. They were encouraged and enabled and finally seen.
Towards the end of it, their status quo changed. Arthur went from a kind and understanding man to a symbol of anarchy, albeit a hero of his people, due to how society treated him. Meanwhile, the violent and merciless Bruce Wayne turned from a symbol of vengeance to a symbol of hope when he realized the consequences of his actions and saw the true problems of the society. We need to remind ourselves that just like us, these characters are human, and humans could only take so much. Would Joker and the Riddler be created if their needs were met? If people listened, if they had more privilege, if people around them treated them with compassion. In the end, it's a matter of reception. The characters of the Batman, Joker, and the Riddler won't be deemed as the anti-hero if we consider the context of who they truly are. These characters were exposed to bad consequences and were forced to deal with it on their own. But still, they were able to represent. They were able to create something out of it. We could treat people like Arthur and Edward with kindness, or we could continue to ignore who they are and what they are fighting for. If we choose to do the latter, we mold them as anti-heroes. For we are the context. We are their background and their reason. We create our own demons. Whether we choose to create anti-heroes or not, in the end, we get what we fucking deserve!